The world is having a moment, isn't it? This is a period of time that I'm fairly certain will be written about in the historical records and the history books as a time of great change, chaos, fear, awakening, progress, and on and on and on. For many right now, I see there are a lot of feelings out there of helplessness and hopelessness, despondency, uncertainty. I get it. I mean, last week I was a mess until I remember that I am not indeed powerless to do something. None of us are. Stories, art, performance, connection, these things that are inherent to the art form of musical theater are incredibly powerful tools at our disposal. So, if you want to change the world, I suggest you write a musical. As silly as that might sound to some people, I am entirely serious. And let's explore why. Hi, hello. If you do not know me, I'm Michael Ratty, aka Musical Theater Writer Guy, aka your musical theater writing coach. I'm the founder of the Musical Theater Writing Collective, and a place to gather and to come together, find community, and learn more about musical theater, to write, to share, to gather feedback, all sorts of courses, coaching, many things. Also, here as Musical Theater Writer Guy, Instagram MT Writer Guy, TikTok Michael Ratty, all the things. So hi, if you're new to me, welcome. If you are not new to me, welcome back. Let's talk about this a bit, because this is a big topic at the moment, my friends. It's a big topic. First and foremost, stories are everything. Everything. The entirety of human history is stories. It's just stories that we have chosen occasionally to write down, right? We look at any historical record, and ultimately it is as well, let's say if it's a textbook kind of historical record, it's as stripped back to the facts as possible, but there's still a story embedded in it. We can't really escape from the idea of perspective and storytelling. It's how we pass down information for generations. It's built directly into our genetic codes. And it's how we learn. Stories are how we learn to do anything and everything. We watch and we look, we listen, we take in, and we learn the lessons from the stories. They are how we connect with one another, right? Whenever you gather with people, what is it that we're asking? Well, if let's assume they're people you know, we're not asking, hey, what's your name? What do you do? Not all those boring icebreaker questions. It's, hey, what's been up? Give me the goods. What's going on in your life? And that will come across through stories, right? This is how we connect. This is how we learn. This is how we grow. This is how we pass on information is through stories. And we find a personalization in ourselves as a listener through the specificity of the stories being told to us, right? There are common internal and external experiences that we all go through. So when we see someone else going through something or recalling a story through which a character or that person went through something, we see ourselves reflected in it. It is a way to connect through that universal human experience. The greatest impacts we ever have on one another are through storytelling. The great speakers know this. The great authors know this, right? And the great musical theater writers know this. The great politicians also know this. Stories are great advertisers know this. I'm not saying stories are always used to the best purposes. Like, look at your intentions, friends. But storytelling creates the greatest impact. Stories affect all of us. And the stories that we pass on continue to affect anyone who encounters them later. They have the ability to change hearts and to change minds. They have the ability to shape generations. So if you want to affect the world, your stories are the way to do it. Looking at the younger generations here, they are the future of everything. So we want to make sure that we are handing stories to them that pull them in the right directions, that show them the world we want to be creating. This is how we change everything. So stories are everything. That's number one. Number two, how many do I have here today so we're all on the same page? Six. I have six today, friends. Number two, storytelling through musical theater. That is an action you can take, and you can do it right now. Right? There's no barrier to entry to musical theater writing. Not anymore. Definitely used to be, but there isn't anymore. There's a lot of information out there, and obviously it's a large part of what I've been trying to do over the past 3+ years. 3 years? I don't know how many years. All the years. Through all the years, what I've been trying to do is give as much information out there as possible. And I'm not the only one. There's so much info out there on how to write a musical now. So this is action you can take now. You have all the tools you need to write the stories with the messages that you want to put out into the world. Like I said, information is now everywhere online. Hi, you're seeing me. And also, there's more. And also, there's community now. There are courses you can take, right? There's lots of ways to learn it, whether you want to do it on your own or do it with other people. Great. But also, you can do this without buying any fancy tools. You don't need any fancy equipment to write a musical. You can do it with a Pages doc or a Microsoft Word doc or a Google Doc, right? You can do it with MuseScore, or we can do it the old school way. Sheet music in paper form, right? There's so many ways to do this. You don't need anything fancy in order to create a musical. Can you get the fancy tools? Sure, absolutely. But you don't have to wait for that, okay? You don't have to wait for anyone else to take action first. You don't have to wait for anyone else to give you permission first. This is your permission right here, right now. If you want to change the world and do it through writing a musical or two or five or 10, now you have the permission. You have all the permission, the grace in the world. I say, yes, go for it. You have everything you need to go and do it. Do it now. You only need direct collaborators with you, right? And I do understand that that may feel like a barrier to entry for some people, but there are parts of the story that you're going to be writing anyway, so you can begin the planning process. But now you can go ahead and take that action and go and look for people, go find people, talk to people about the stories you want to tell, and start with the messaging, right? What is the message you want to put into the world? Because if you want to take action to help change the world and shape it into something you would like to see, then you're going to need to be starting with messaging first, as well as what the seed of the story is. Talk to people about this. See if anyone bites for this, right? If anyone else is like, yes, I want to write that story too. Can I join you? Right? We can look for those collaborators now. We don't have to wait. And even talking about this idea, even if it is just an idea, or it's something you're outlining and sketching, or it's something you're just beginning to write, no matter what stage you are in, talking about it out in the world helps. It helps to move the needle, right? When people begin to hear about projects and they're like, wait, you're writing a musical about what? Oh, that's interesting. I never thought about that before, right? Sometimes the impact can happen right as you're just talking about it without having actually written it and put it out into the world yet. So, you don't have to wait. You can start now. There's nothing stopping you from starting right now. That's number two. Number one, stories are everything. Number two, there's action you can take right now. Number three, why write a musical? To change the world. Also, hi, if you're live. Hey, punk guitar lessons. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Maybe I should take some punk guitar lessons with you. I'm writing a punk pop score right now. There are lots of ways to say this, but number three, I'm going to say as music itself is emotion made visceral. Music is made out of frequencies, right? Sound is made out of frequency. Energy is frequency. And frequencies are felt in our bodies as vibrations that resonate in ways that can create an emotional experience. Because what emotions are in the body is the feeling of energy flow and movement, okay? Feelings, emotions, they're different, but they're tied together. And what we feel in our body is ultimately the movement of energy. And frequency from the outside affects different parts of our body as well, which gives us a sense of certain feelings, which clicks into certain emotions, right? These things are all tied together. So when I say visceral, I mean you can literally feel this in your physical body. And therefore, music itself can create emotional experiences within people. Isn't that the coolest freaking thing? Right? When you're reading a book, it may be a great story. You may be pulled into it. You may be empathizing and feeling things along with the characters. Absolutely. Or maybe you aren't, right? But when you're sitting in a room live with music in your face, vibrating your body, you can't help but be pulled into the experience. It's really hard to not be pulled in, unless you're like disconnected from your body, which is the thing, but I'm not a therapist, so. Um, Music as being integral to the storytelling of musical theater is part of what makes it so special and why it's so effective. It's a room filled with emotional vibrations that everyone gets to experience at once. Therefore, empathy, the empathizing, I almost said empathization, that's not a word. It is now. The empathization with the characters by audience members becomes easier, and the effects are literally visceral. You can change someone's physiology for a moment, right? We know that music has an effect. This has been well studied. I mean, well studied, relatively young in terms of all studies in the universe, but still, it is well studied. So, number one is stories are everything. Number two is you can take action now. There are no barriers to entering on this. Number three is music itself is emotion made visceral. Those frequencies make a difference. They really, really do. This is how we change hearts and minds, friends. We've got three more coming up here. If you were wondering, hey, Michael, why did you start your live stream at 11:30 this week? The answer, friends, is because it is very busy in Michael Ratty World right now. We are working hard on putting on a live cabaret fundraiser of all new musical theater music from our community, the Musical Theater Writing Collective. That's taking place at the Green Room 42 in Midtown Manhattan on the 22nd of February. It is a fundraiser for the Transgender Law Center because we see what's happening in the world. And this is something we've been working hard on, gathering all the pieces together and making it happen. There's a live stream ticket available for that as well. I'll post this in a comment below so you can all buy tickets if you'd like to. The live stream is also available after the event, I think for a few days. It says up to a week. I don't know what that means, but that's upcoming, so I'm working hard on that. We just finished up a cohort of the Flagship Musical Theater Writing Workshop course. Cohort 6 just finished yesterday, and so I'm prepping for that upcoming. The next cohort 7 starts in March, which, by the way, if you're interested in that, have a convo with me sooner rather than later. Enrollment wasn't officially open, but we're a third full already, which is great. But also, don't wait. And then we're going to start a new round of the 6-month Mastery Accelerator program in like 2.5 weeks or 2 weeks or something. So like lots of things are happening over here, aka we're not getting the full hour today. Sorry, friends. My apologies. But we've got a lot of good stuff coming. There's also a new incubator program. It's a 3-month program. I'm creating a libretto course. I'm also writing a book. So, oh, and 4 musicals. So, hey, a little bit busy over here, but all good things. So, if you're interested in working with me in any courses or coaching or anything like that, book a call. There's links in the description, or apply to one of the courses. I'm happy to chat with you. No risk, no obligation. We can just have the chat. If it's not right for you, okay, cool. If it is, come and join me. Okay, after that little commercial break that was unplanned. Number 4, group connection and experience. Group connection, yes, connection through sitting next to people. It's a thing. Through the group experience. Everyone gathered together for a musical. Everyone is gathered together in one space, communally, which automatically creates connection. We know this. We have studied this. We know that heartbeats in an audience will sync up. By the end of a performance, the heartbeats in an audience sync up. Isn't that wild? What is happening, right? We always think of ourselves as like so individual. We're like individual people. Yeah, but our fields are much larger than our bodies and they intermingle, right? So, Our heartbeats sync up. We all experience the same story in music and performance together, but through our own perspectives and experiences, right? So it is the same story, it is the same experience, and yet it's not. It's like how, if you recall during the pandemic, sorry, don't mean to go back to pandemic times, but this was a phrase that was tossed around a lot. A lot of people were saying we're in the same, everyone's in the same boat. And then it was corrected by some people to, no, we're all in the same storm, but we're in different boats. That's more of what this is like. Less negative, I hope, though. But like, we're all in the same experience, but through our own perspectives, our own lenses. And yet, it's a common experience in our heartbeat sync, and we are together empathizing and experiencing this story, being pulled in, feeling the vibrations of the music. And empathy and experiences are great, but they're most effective when they're through the lens of community and interpersonal integration. I was listening to a fascinating podcast episode of the 2025 Feminist Survival Project, I think is what it's called. It's by the Nagaskis, Emily and Amelia Nagoski. And they were talking about polyvagal theory. They called it Polyvagal 101. And something they said in there, I was like, oh, that's profound, and no one has ever said it to me like that before, which is, no matter where you are in your nervous system state, you cannot be fully regulated and integrated without another person. You can't do it on your own. It's like, what? Mind blown, right? We talk about self-regulation all the time, pulling out of sympathetic into parasympathetic, and then there's the idea of dorsal, and there's a positive side of dorsal, but it's the interpersonal piece that allows for actual regulation and integration. And that's what we get to do live in a room together, right? Musical theater is so freaking cool, guys. It's so cool. If you don't think it's cool, you're on the wrong channel. That was number four, sorry. Stories are everything. You can take action now. Music is emotion made visceral. Group connections and experiences. That's how we integrate. Number five is personal growth and clarity. Now, I mentioned this recently in a different live stream in a different way, but through the long and deep process that is writing a musical, which it is long and it does go deep, friends. It does go deep. Even if it's a fun light show, it goes deep. You will learn so much about yourself, about your thoughts, about your beliefs, and about the minutia of how you see the world. In addition to like the big picture of everything, right? When you write something that has a message attached specifically, you're going in with a purpose, with intention. There is going to automatically be self-exploration that comes with that. Because if you're going to pull out of yourself to write characters in that world, on this topic, with these messages, you will have to put on the hats of their perspectives, their lenses, which means you have to know where you stand to know where you're separate from the characters. It's wild. The process is wild. And when you need to create clarity for an audience, which please create clarity for your audience, do not leave them confused. By creating clarity for the audience, you will automatically be creating clarity for yourself. Because if you don't know what's up crystal clearly, the audience couldn't possibly know what's up crystal clearly. Because you have to know, and then you have to translate it through the piece into the message that's going to them with clarity. It's hard. Musicals are hard. But that's a really deep exploration process, right? And that clarity will allow, when you find it, will allow you to know everything you believe on this, or at least the inklings thereof. People grow, people change, people evolve, people learn more. But know where you are now and how it's separate from the characters so that your messages and your stories can hit even more directly to your audience in making a difference in their worlds, right? That clarity, that exploration is so key. Woo! Yeah! Okay, here we are. I feel like I'm on a podium today. Pulpit? That's the word I was looking for. I feel like I'm on a pulpit. That's a fun word, pulpit. Okay, number six. All right. So, why write a musical, friends? In order to change the world, number one, stories are everything. Number two, it's action you can take right now. You do not have to wait. There's no barrier to entry. Number three, Music is emotion made visceral. We feel those frequencies in our body. Number four, it's about the group connection and experience. This is how we integrate everything together. This is how we learn and really truly pull it into ourselves. Number five, you will have so much personal growth and clarity. Which, by the way, I didn't even say this about the personal growth and clarity, but with that, not only are your stories going to be better, your musical is going to be better, but on top of that, you will have more clarity as you go out and take action in the world. Right? There's a reason you want to be passing these messages on. There's a reason you want to be changing the world. And other actions you can take will become clearer as well as the writing of the musical. Number six, we have the receipts. Musicals have been a large part of changing people's hearts and minds for the entire time that the art form has been alive. It hasn't been perfect, but it's always been there. We've used musical theater to feel together. We've used it to create messaging. We've used it to provide hope. We've used it to advertise. We've used it to connect people. We've used it to connect people back into themselves. We've used it to make fun of the ridiculous, right? Let's not forget that the first musical, this is pre-book musical, right? We think about Showboat or arguably Oklahoma as being the first book musical. People argue about that all the time. The other one that gets forgot about often, though, is Of Thee I Sing, which was the first piece of musical theater comedy to earn the Pulitzer Prize. And that was poking fun at politics. Right? We've always used it to poke fun at the ridiculous. We've used it to provide joy and spectacle. We've used it to create introspection and emotional healing. All these wonderful things from Showboat, which what we were taking some actions with Showboat. Should we still be doing Showboat? That's a different story. But we were taking some actions with Showboat. From Showboat to the Wicked movie and everything in between, right? We have watched musicals become mainstream and affect people in deep ways that the writers could never have even guessed that they would. Like listening to Stephen Schwartz talk about how Wicked has affected the world at this point, like he can see why, but he always talks about how he had no expectation of that at all. And people are finding a depth in there and a connection that he didn't anticipate. That's awesome. We look at Hamilton, Lin-Manuel. I mean, I know there's been backlash on Hamilton as well in more recent years, but y'all, 2015, Hamilton storms onto the scene and changes like everything. The amount of inspiration that that gave out to the world, A, B, Americans in a time of, hey, that's the gearing up for the 2016 election time is what that was. We remember what that looked like. Also, a new generation of musical theater writers came from that. And a whole bunch of people across the world now know a whole bunch about American history, which like, okay, cool. Right, but there are deeper ways that musicals affect people. There are lighter ways that musicals affect people, but you can change the entire zeitgeist through musical theater, right? Which is wild, but so freaking cool and so powerful. Yeah, I'm so back today. Sorry, y'all. Just feeling it. I'm feeling the fire at the moment. Can't imagine why. So, as a reminder here, Hamilton ushered in a new generation of actors of color. That, yes, that. Yeah, we can affect the world. It's Thank you, JD. Thank you for pointing that out. So, again, to review, why a musical is a great opportunity for you to change the world right here, right now. Number one, stories are everything. Number two, you don't have to wait. There's no barrier to entry anymore. There isn't. You can go. You can do it now. Music is emotion made visceral. And that one, like, explore that, friends. I think more of us should be exploring and studying how music affects people emotionally. Group communication and experience is how we integrate. Personal growth and clarity is guaranteed, will follow. And also, we have the receipts on all of this. It is part and parcel of the art form, always has been. And that's why you should be writing musical. If you want to do it with me, come on, come join me. Come join us in the Musical Theater Writing Collective. Join one of the courses. Like I said, we've got the cohort 7 of the flagship course will start first week of March, and the new Master Accelerator program round starts on the 17th, I believe, of February. We've got that upcoming cabaret. So if you would like to attend that or watch it virtually or even just donate directly to the Transgender Law Center in our name, that would be lovely and wonderful. I will provide links below. And otherwise, I hope you're writing musicals, friends, of course. If you're not and you're here, why haven't you started yet? Come on, join me. Come talk to me. Apply for a program if you'd like to join me directly, or you can schedule a 30-minute call. We've got a few minutes. I'll stick around for an Ask Me Anything if anyone has anything. Piece of hair just like poked me in the eye. Whether it's on this topic or something else, I'm happy to stick around for a few minutes to answer some questions. Also, in 2 weeks from today, that will be. Oh no, never mind. We're still good in 2 weeks from today. I'll still be doing a live stream. If you have topics you want me to cover, feel free to post them. Because sometimes also I will say when people ask questions in the chat on the live stream, it affects videos I make, not the live stream. Well, sometimes live streams, yes, but also affects some of the other videos that I make as well. So if you've got questions or topics you want me to hit, toss them out there to me. Well, I don't see any questions coming in today, which is totally cool. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate the fact that you're willing to do the hard thing and write a musical. Musicals are not easy to create. They're not easy to stick with, but the effect of a musical is deep. Ooh, we do have questions. See, glad I said some more stuff. Top favorite musicals. Also, what are the most outsider-driven musicals? I'm not sure what you mean by that one, Punk Guitar Lessons. Can you clarify that part of the question for me? Um, but top 5 favorite musicals. That's a toughie. It's a really toughie. West Side Story is definitely up there. I mean, I could fill it with Sondheim. Like Sweeney Todd's up there, Company's up there, Into the Woods is up there. Um, what else? A Little Night Music is one of the most gorgeous scores of all time. If I'm not just filling it with Sondheim, um, Cabaret is up there. What else? What else? What else? I don't know. I have a lot of love for a lot of musicals. That's just a difficult question. Um, I really love Hadestown. It's a great show. I need to see it again. Uh, yeah, I don't know. That's a whole bunch. That's a bunch of musicals I love. There's probably so many more. Um, Not on topic, but how much underscore is too much? I made a video about that, about underscore and incidental music. Feel free to just like search on the channel and find that one. The the general rule for me where underscore is kind of twofold. Number one is your palette of underscore throughout your musical. How incorporated is it? Is your musical played through essentially, or as close to played through as you can be without being fully played through? Like, is music a constant in your musical? Therefore, silence is very effective when you have silence. Or is it more of the old school standard book musical where underscore only occurs with musical scenes and transitions, but not really under most scenes? In which case, hey, go forth and play around with, does this scene need some music? Do we want to keep it more in the vein of everything else, right? It's like, is the importance from adding more underscore, or is the importance being given by subtracting away underscore? And then just kind of find the balance. I don't really think there's such a thing as too much. I think there is such a thing as, oh, no, that we needed all of that. Or this could use some music. So I'd say just experiment. Um, Like stories about disenfranchised groups, like anti-authority tale. What are the most outside-driven musicals? Disenfranchised group, like anti-authority tales. That's an interesting question. I don't know that I have a particular list of that. I'm not entirely sure, honestly. I don't think there are a lot of those. I mean, I think Suffs would fall into that category. It's very much about women who are disenfranchised getting the vote, right? Literally disenfranchised. Um, I'm sure there are other activist-driven musicals, but I don't know them off the top of my head. I would have to think about it a bit more. Sorry about that. Yasmin Love, hello, hello. I keep having a recurring dream of writing a musical right before I open my eyes from sleep. I can hear the lyrics and music playing in this video. Oh, yes. Write that musical. Let's do it. Yes, come to the dark side. As in musicals are the dark side. I love that. Yes, having a recurring dream. I think that's fantastic. Oh, that's wonderful. Like, wake up in the middle of the night, write things down. As soon as you wake up, make notes, make sketches. You don't have to do anything quite yet. You can leave it, right? But if you can write down the ideas that have come to you, it gives you such great fodder to work with when you dive in and sit down and really dig into it. I love that. Ooh, the universe is calling to you. Write that musical. So good, so good. Yeah, Suffs. Suffs was the only one that came to mind for me too, Adrian. So far. These are good. Lovely questions, friends. I appreciate you. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you asking questions. I appreciate that you're writing musicals. Y'all, we gotta take some actions. We gotta change this world. We gotta make it better. Gotta make it what we want it and need it to be. And the best way to do that is through storytelling. I truly believe that. Um, Adrian, I wrote a 15-minute musical for writing plays with music class over summer. It's about a girl from Hollywood. Oh, that sounds lovely. Yeah, let's do it. Have you fleshed it out yet? Would be my first question. You don't have to answer that right now. But like, what is the full outline? What is the entire journey? What does it look like? How does it go from this one nugget to something bigger? Is it the same journey but expanded, or is this just a piece of the journey and then there's more you're going to be putting in there? These are the fun things. I enjoy that process of like, ooh, here's the one little nugget. Let's expand. So yes, go forth, make that. It's great. It's great. It's great. Um, Sounds like a delightful play. And you're welcome. Thank you. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you all. All right, y'all, I'm off to continue my work on all the things. If you want to join me in a course or you're just considering it, apply, have a conversation with me. If it's not right, okay. If it's right, great. So, all right, friends, have a great couple weeks. I'll see you again soon. Peace out, everyone. Bye.